being said, pharmaceutical company MSD is in the final stages of developing an investigational COVID-19 antiviral treatment. The drug is currently in the clinical trial stage, and the trials began in South Africa back in June. But to tell us more, I'm now joined by a principal investigator. That's Dr Lize Hellstrom. Thank you so much for your time, and good morning to you, Doc. Let's start there. I mean, I suppose the the stages with which this trial is. What can you tell us so far about the progress made?
Well, at the moment, the trial for molnupiravir is in the third part of the trial. It started in June, as you rightly said, and to date we've got 110 participants in South Africa enrolled in this very important trial, which looks at an oral antiviral. And the whole idea is that we can reduce the amount of hospitalizations for patients living with with COVID-19, who've been diagnosed with COVID-19 in the very early part of the disease process. Yeah, it's really important. And if we talk about antivirals, obviously HIV slips in because that's what the history has been about and helped us with that pandemic. But now we're talking about COVID-19 and having to look at developing this drug, which is really important as a second part to the rollout of our vaccination process. And we're not quite sure what COVID-19 is going to do. I mean, we see new variants starting up, and this antiviral is really well posed for all kinds of viral variants.
Yeah, and we know that just outside of the United States, South Africa is hosting, the largest trials for MSD antiviral candidate. When can we expect the first results?
Well, if we're hoping to have the first results in the fourth quarter, obviously very important that people enroll in the study, and that's the first prize. So if we can get the numbers, and you always need the right numbers to be able to give us results. And at this stage, we are still looking for participants who are over the age of 18, have at least one symptom, and who would be willing to take part in a trial. They also have to have comorbidities and be prepared to join us within the first 3 to 4 days of symptom onset, and that's the tricky part.
Doc, just to get a sense of how you're conducting this clinical trial, how many participants are you aiming to enroll here, especially in the bigger scheme of things when you look at your global number of patients?
Well, in South Africa, we hope to enroll 164 participants. As we say, we are at the moment at 110, and we hope to conclude that as soon as possible so that the results could be forthcoming by the fourth quarter.
Yeah. Also, just looking at the number of people still being hospitalized and losing their lives due to COVID-19, is this number still very worrisome for you? One death is one too many. But when you're looking at the data in terms of hospitalizations and, infections currently in the country, what do you see from your assessment?
Well, it's horrible. I mean, I think that the way that people die also, and the isolation is really terrible. And we need to find all the opportunities to fight that. And I think this is where drugs such as molnupiravir is so important to add to our sort of going to war with, so that we have more than one opportunity to fight the virus. We need to stop the hospitalizations, we need to stop the deaths, and it's very tricky out there.
Yeah, indeed. Well, we leave it then. We thank you so much for speaking to us this morning. MSD Clinical Trial Principal Investigator Dr Lize Hellstrom is speaking to us this morning.